The way back to our power is trusting in reality. It's never failed us before. Not really. We've always figured it out. And also trusting ourselves within that reality. And that's what I'm here for right now, this mission of self-trust, baby. Whatever, let's just pour some tea. I don't know if you can hear the glorious music of tea being poured. But that's what I'm doing right now. Trying not to get drips all over the table. There we go. Alright. Cheers, my friends. I'm drinking loose leaf red bush. And there's something really delightful about a loose leaf that makes me want to just savour it. I don't know what that is, but it is what it is. Loose leaf, man. It's like analog. It feels like the difference between Spotify and an old crackly vinyl. Because I suppose it is, right? Tea bags were made for the efficiency revolution. And loose leaf is not that. Anyway, I'm drinking a bit of Red Bush and I'm happy to be here. I burnt out last month, I suppose. Let's start there. I am here to help us all not burn out. Burning out isn't a part of joy, is it? But yeah, a fairly dramatic burnout happened last month and I'm really grateful for it. I'm really grateful for it. Is that a weird thing to say? It is. And yet, here I'm saying it. It's so funny. I had a conversation recently with somebody about trying to fit myself into someone else's mold. And this is why I burnt out. And this is why I think so many of us feel dissatisfied with the current state of our reality. For so long, I was following the models of the people who'd been before me, especially when it comes to my business. You know, and I had a partner who was a great guy, but it got very toxic for us. And he was a marketer, and it was his way or no way. Like, for a long time, that was the way that I lived my life. It had to be his way. And this recent burnout, I left him a while ago, a few years now. But this recent burnout just taught me that I'm not over that yet. I'm not fucking over it. I think we, collectively, are outsourcing to everybody else so often with almost everything. You don't have to be running a business to outsource your shit to other people. You know, wellness, I can moan again about that guy that I saw, enormous well-being brand on social media, and he's like the product development guy or something. He's really young and hipster looking, walking down the street. This is on an Instagram reel, one of the reasons I quit. And he was saying that he eats 3 times a week, mostly eggs. And what? So we're outsourcing our diets and our sleep routines and our fucking everything. Lifestyles, the way we build our businesses, the way we have downtime, the way where we go on holiday, how we rest, how we heal, to somebody else. And then when you look at somebody else saying, with a very straight face, real fucking earnest, that he eats 3 times a week, are we hearing this, guys? What? Like, good for him, but like, have a little bit of insight to realise that you're on an enormous platform, you are pushing this stuff to millions of people who are, some of them quite vulnerable, and you're touting this as the way to go. I don't give a fuck if you put in the caption, his way is not for everybody. No. You're literally pervading this crazy idea that eating 3 times a week is fucking healthy. It isn't. Not only, I'm on a rant now, not only is it not healthy, where's the joy in that? You know? Alright, so, rant over, but come on. But we're doing it. I did it for such a long time with my ex, and then after leaving him, I felt like I couldn't trust myself. I couldn't trust my intuition. I didn't know what I was doing. It was a bleak time, but I had a coach, a business coach at the time too, and I just I just moved the outsourcing, the permission that I needed from my partner, my ex now, to my coach. And so everything I was doing in my business, again, she's a great woman, great coach, but everything I was doing, I had to run through her. And it had to be part of a recipe or a format or a formula or a process. This is how you do it. You want to be a successful businesswoman, you want to have a successful business, you want to grow your audience, you want to succeed, whatever. This is how you do it. This is the runway, this is the mechanic, this is the system that you run, and if you don't do it, then you're not putting enough effort in. And so I just shifted the person that I was leaning on heavily from him to my coach, from my ex to my coach. And I have only realised this recently. I left my ex 5 years ago. And I'm really grateful that my coaching ended in the last kind of couple of years, I think, year and a half. I was forced to start to come back into my own intuition and to trust myself again. And this recent burnout that I had was just a slap round the face. I think when we are feeling really anxious, when we're feeling more stressed than not, when we're feeling more overwhelmed than not only is it not cool, it's not good for us, right? But it's indicative of something being out of alignment. We're not in alignment with what we want, what we think is right, what we're excited about, what lights us up. And that burnout I had recently was such an enormous indication of that for me. Something isn't working right in my business and in my life, because my business is my life, right? I don't know if you work for yourself. Like, working for yourself is enormous. You're in it 24/7. There's no one telling you, do this, do that. So the burnout told me, hey, look, something's not right here, girl. Something's not aligned with who you are and what you want to be. And I suppose the burnout really reminded me that I haven't been aligned with who I am, what I want to do, what I stand for a really long time. For sure, I've healed so much since I left that relationship, and yet I am still realising how much I rely on the way of other people, the methodologies of other people, the advice and the permission, even AI. I think we're starting to use, or we have been using AI as a sort of permission slip, as a kind of go around using our intuition. We're kind of bypassing our intuition and just going straight to the robots. Everything, it's like we're outsourcing everything. And yet, your intuition, your insights, babe, we have honed this shit over millennia of evolution. It's only kind of recently in this modern world we live in, the patriarchy, let's blame that, it has a place here, where we've been sort of disconnected from our own insight and our own, like, trusting ourselves. AI is making it worse. Social media has made it so much fucking worse. And if you've been in relationships like I've been in, and if you're running a business and you're really excited and desperate for it to work, you outsource to people because you don't know the answers. Whereas I think we do. Actually, we kind of do. You do. We know what feels good. We know what our gut is telling us. If only we'd begin to listen to that. So in this recent period of burnout, right, like, you have that initial friction. I shouldn't be burning out. This is anti everything that I'm standing for, first of all. Second of all, I don't have fucking time for this. I ain't got time to wallow here, or to be down, or sad, or tired, or, like, all of the above, or have a meltdown. Like, what? No, this is inconvenient. But this is the thing, isn't it? It's always going to be inconvenient. It's always going to be at a time where you've got loads of stuff to get done. And so there was that friction initially. I don't want to be burnt out. This sucks. And then guilt for feeling burnt out. And eventually, over the course of like 5 or 6 days, I managed to come back into myself and be like, hey, okay, I'm burning out. I think there's a case for certainty here as well. You know, when you're burning out, there's a case for the certainty that you thought you had. I am going to get this work done. I am going to finish this and rest, or whatever it is that you're saying to yourself. That's the certainty that we're sort of imagining in our minds. And then when we burn out, that certainty's gone. Suddenly we're feeling not only burnt out, you know, we're exhausted, we struggle to eat properly, we can't get out of bed, we struggle to brush our teeth, whatever it is, we feel really sad, I was crying at everything. But the certainty we had crafted for ourselves has also disappeared. And so we have an opportunity when we're in that burnout to find more certainty in the uncertain. So for instance, my instinct was to be like, oh my God, I'm fucked. I'm absolutely fucked. This is all ruined. My business is over. It's dramatics, right? It's that catastrophization of everything. We're trying to find certainty by catastrophizing. That catastrophe, I'm fucked, is the certainty that we're trying to find in the uncertainty that we're living through. Or flip that on its head and we could be like, it's all good, I'm fine. That's a certainty we're trying to find in this pool of uncertainty. Whereas actually I think there's a third option. Rather than being super pessimistic and weighed down by it, or super optimistic and forcing a sense of like happiness or positivity, a third way is, okay, let's make certainty, or let's find the certainty in this moment. The certainty is I am depleted. My batteries they need replacing. They don't need recharging, they need replacing at this point. That's a certainty. Another certainty, I'm safe, I have a house, I have food, I am loved. I have excellent books around me. I haven't lost the ability to move my body, to think, to breathe, to play music, to listen to music. You know, there's certainty if we look for it. And once we're able to succumb to that moment of, I'm burnt out. All right, I'm burnt out. Let's put Gilmore Girls on, eat a tub of ice cream. That's all I got right now. Once we're able to succumb to that, once we're able to see, okay, I'm going through enormous heartbreak and I'm going to face it instead of push it away. Or grief. I'm going to face the grief instead of pushing it away. Not only are we not consumed by it, but we're able then to heal. Joe Hudson talks about it best. I've said this before. He says something like, joy is the matriarch of our emotions. She's only going to show up to a table where her children feel welcome. Her children being every other emotion that we can feel. Despair, grief, heartbreak, burnout. We feel in order to heal, but we've got to feel. We've got to have the fucking courage to look at the burnout for what it is. Welcome it to the table like an old friend. You don't want it to be there, but oh my God, we have to just stop bracing, stop pushing it out, and just embrace it. Allow it to be here. And then our certainties start to shift. What is certain is that for me, I can't keep going on like this. I can't keep forcing a square peg into a round hole in my business. I was a course creator and a membership owner, and I was launching these courses 4 times a year. Joy Unplugged, my signature program, I was launching it 4 times a year. Every single time I burnt out. It took me 4 times to get the message of like, oh, this isn't working for me. That becomes a new certainty. And once we own up to that, once we're like, okay, my future feels really crazy uncertain, but I'm leaning into the certainty of what I've got in front of me right now, then we can start to realize that there's possibility here. There's possibility. And from that place of possibility, I have reimagined my business again. For the millionth time, it seems like. I've been doing this over a decade now, and it never gets easier, but I wouldn't have it any other way. But a reminder that I am a writer, and sure, I have courses and a membership and whatever, but the writing is my fuel, the writing is my business, the writing about how we live, how we find joy, how we have this, embrace this life well lived. That is what I'm here for. If you want to dive deeper, there's a link in the show notes, right? But I'm bored of selling. I'm bored of being sold to as a customer. I'm bored of marketing. I'm bored of what everybody else tells me that I should do. I am really bored of it. When it comes to my business, when it comes to my health, and we do this all the time, especially as women, we're told we're not enough. We shrink ourselves to fit. We ask for permission. When perhaps women actually are the queens of intuition. Our intuition is so honed, finely honed, and yet we're giving it away. We're not trusting ourselves. What trusting myself now looks like in comparison to back then, and the way that I've learned to come back to this intuitive part of myself. And it's a slow process, right? It's been 5 years since I left my ex, who left me feeling like I couldn't, there was no intuition in my body left, right? I didn't know what I was doing without him. I outsourced then to my coach, and it's only in the last couple of years where I've realised that I can trust myself again. This has been a slow process. The recent burnout is just like another cog in this wheel. But I've been going to therapy for 4 years, and nervous system regulation has been a huge part of this. I've stopped fasting. So I was fasting for like 20 hours at a time. Not for days at a time like that guy on Instagram. What? But I was fasting because, it's a thing, you should do it. Like, stop messing about. My PMS was horrendous. I quit fasting, I think it's like 6 months ago, and who'd have thunk it? My hormonal mood swings suddenly stopped being so dramatic because I was fueling myself when I needed to fuel myself, and because I wasn't adding unnecessary extra bouts of stress into my day by starving myself for 20 hours. I started reading fiction again, which is a bonkers thing to say. Why did I stop? I was taught that non-fiction was the only way forward. And I've leaned into my magic, right? Writing is my muse. Writing is my thing, you know? And so I've leaned into that recently, and I'm really excited about moving forward with that in my business and in my life. The book is being written, man. Whether it'll ever be published or not is a side note, but I'm writing, and that's the main thing. So I think powerlessness isn't the absence of control, it's actually the absence of self-trust. Every facet of outsourcing, whether that's in our business or in our health or relationships, is really a way of avoiding our own gut feelings. And I think the way back to our power is trusting in reality. It's never failed us before. Not really. We've always figured it out. And also trusting ourselves within that reality. And that's what I'm here for right now, this mission of self-trust, baby. Do you want to get a $3,000 ice bath? Go for it. Can you think of nothing worse? Don't do it. And know that by not following the advice of people on social media doesn't mean you're less than. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It doesn't mean that you're not doing it right. It means what a blessing, right? That you're able to trust yourself again. And then when you do, I think everything gets better. Everything gets better when we learn to trust ourselves. And I will leave it on that. Thank you for being here, man. I hope you're enjoying the format of my podcast recently, and I will be back with another episode next month and loads of writing in the meantime on Substack. Thanks for being here, my friend. All the love.